Good morning, and it's a rather cold, it's been a hell of a week on the Gold Coast. It's been wet and windy, winds up to 35 knots one night, not very pleasant. I'm not anchored in a terribly great spot. I was up behind Waterways Island, but one night I had a boat next to me drag, and I thought I would prefer to be away from that kind of stuff. So I've moved a bit further up the river, or north, but I get a lot of fetch here. Fetch is, waves coming across the broad water, and it's fairly open. So it hasn't been that pleasant being on the boat with all that wind and rain, but that's boat life. Another interesting thing that's happened on the Gold Coast is everyone on a boat recently received a notice from Gold Coast Waterways and Maritime Safety Queensland informing us that they'll be conducting targeted patrols, inspections and enforcement activities related to general marine safety and vessel seaworthiness, vessels adhering to anchoring requirements, and vessel pollution and environmental responsibilities. This serves as a formal notice and increased compliance and enforcement activities will be undertaken across Gold Coast waterways. In a cost of living crisis, when rentals are sky high, we do not want you living on boats and escaping our fees. That wasn't said in the letter, I've just added that. And I do hope that they are also targeting jet skiers. One thing I find interesting coming to the Gold Coast is, when I was on the Clarence River, kids down there, for one thing, they didn't have jet skis, they just had their tinnies and they were out fishing. But they would not even comprehend to come up to another vessel and spray it with water or annoy them. They just would not even comprehend that, but for some reason that seems to be what happens on the Gold Coast. And if you're on a boat and you've got your windows open and a jet ski comes past and sprays into your window, that's going all over electrical equipment, radios, safety equipment. It's a big, big issue. I thought about, and maybe part of that is, when you got to be 18 to have a driver's license for a car. A 16-year-old can have a jet ski. Their brains haven't developed properly. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's related to all jet skis. No, I shouldn't say that. But yeah, not a fan. I thought about it recently. What if a jet ski was on land? What would it be like? Well, imagine you're having a barbecue, and you're there just cooking a barbecue, and then suddenly someone just comes up and starts running around the barbecue, going, making some loud, obnoxious noise, and then throwing a bucket of water over you. Anyway, let's move on. I previously made a video when I was on the Clarence River, and it was a period. It was a dark period in my life. I was living in Melbourne. I was living my dream, really. I was growing veggies. I was even breeding quails for meat. And I had a partner who shared that vision with me. And that's for anyone who is in a great relationship, when you've got a shared vision, it's something to work for. And you're more than happy to, you're passionate to work hard to get those goals. Unfortunately, that relationship ended. And I ended up back on this small boat with everything I owned. So that was a bit of a dark period for me. And I think as men, we don't always like to admit when we're struggling or when we're going through difficulties. We're problem solvers. We don't want to bitch and moan. We want to try and solve our own problems. And sometimes that can become overwhelming, and we can turn to alcohol, and we can, not do the best in our own interest. And so I'm releasing this video, and it represents that time for me, a time when I was learning a lot of new things, fixing the boat, and fixing one thing, and it just became overwhelming, where I'd fix one thing, or I'd paint the cabin and then find a bit of rot, and then realise, here we go, it's like a can of worms. And that was very difficult. But I want to release that video because I think there's got to be an honesty about, dealing with those situations. I'm sure there's other men out there like me who have had relationships and your life's gone to shit. You could have lost everything at a stage of your life when, you're kind of probably ready to just relax a little more. And it's not shameful to admit that, and it's not shameful to talk about how you dealt with it. So this is a video where I look at the situation of even just buying the boat and trying to deal with it. So I hope you understand that not everything in life is perfect. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for listening. Do you think sometimes in life we can get premonitions of things we maybe shouldn't do? The reason I asked that before starting a video on tidying a boat, cleaning up a boat, is because when I looked at buying this boat, I googled the name, Sequondo, and the answer it gave me back was failure. And I've tried googling the name again, and now it's changed. Google's changed it to yes when, but at the time when I first did a Google search for the name, it came up failure. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I was like, no one could name a boat failure. But it kind of has come to fruition. It's I seem to repair one job and then something else goes wrong. And and the other thing is I haven't really become accustomed to living in a small space. I mean, I've backpacked across Spain with 12 kilos on my back. I've bike packed across New Zealand where I had everything in two bags. I've motorcycled around Australia where I had everything down to I had packing and unpacking down to a fine art. But for some reason, I haven't been able to utilise this 10 square metre space. So it's a 30-foot boat, and at the moment, part of that is because I'm doing repairs. So I've got a lot of stuff on the boat that normally wouldn't be on the boat. But I just haven't made this space beautiful. And you'll see as I tidy up, it's a bloody mess at the moment. But getting back to that thing about premonitions, I mean, I've had, I think I was thinking back through my life of times I have had dreams or situations where I feel I've been told something. One such thing was I was in Brazil. I just lost this competition that I really thought I was going to win, called Race Around the World, where you were given money and a camera to make films all around the world. What a great concept, what a great idea. It was with the ABC in Australia. Didn't get in. Was sure I was going to get in, was sure it was my destiny, and it wasn't. And that night I was in Brazil at the time, and I had a dream that this girl that I'd previously met in war-torn Bosnia was the girl I was meant to marry. And I did go back to I've been back to Bosnia twice, and I did meet her again, and nothing kind of eventuated. And then the last time I went back there, she'd been hit in the head by a stone, some kid throwing a stone, and was brain damaged. And it was the saddest situation for me, that how one little event could change her life for the worse. She remembered who I was, but there were times where she would just be sitting there catatonically staring into space. It was so sad I didn't even want to take a photo. I wanted to remember her as the ravishing beauty she was in her youth, with crystal blue eyes and raven black hair and the ability to speak 5 languages, a real spark of personality. And the reason I sort of talk about that story is I wonder whether in her case it was a terrible case, but I wonder in my case whether this failure is, we see failure as a bad thing, but maybe this is a bloody great lesson for me. I have to learn so many damn things. I have to learn diesel mechanics, woodwork, electrical, 12-volt electrical, fitting solar panels, and then if I'm lucky, I get to do a bit of sailing, navigation, wind, tides. There's so much that encompasses, and it's not what it's not what I envisage it to be. It's a bloody lot of hard work owning a boat. There's constant problems. There's constant things that go wrong. But I made it to 50 in my life without having any major failures, and this is probably the biggest failure of my life. But is that such a bad thing? Is it such a bad thing to be stuck in a situation where you're like, what the fuck have I done wrong to be stuck here on this boat, this tiny boat? Is that such a bad thing? Is it a chance for me to go, all right, how can I rectify this situation? How can I improve my life and improve my use of time and organisation skills to get out of this situation and get this boat ready to sail? So I think the first stage, there's a well-known psychologist on YouTube, Jordan Peterson, and he says the first thing is tidy your damn room. And that's, I looked back at that last video I made recently, and this boat is an absolute mess. I mean, I've got a crawling space to the bed, I've got a crawling space to the galley, to the kitchen, I've got a crawling space to get out, but in every other place there's junk. So that will be today's video, just to try and organise this space and make it livable, and hopefully make it a place I want to be and I feel comfortable being.
Let's say you want to sort out your room and beautify it, because the beauty is also important. And let's say that all you have is just a little room, like you're not rich, you're poor, and you don't have any power. That's another thing. But you've got your damn room, and you've got this space right in front of you, that's a part of the cosmos that you can come to grips with. And if you allow yourself just to consider the expanse in which you exist at that moment, there'll be all sorts of things that'll pop out in it that you could just fix. And I would say, start where you can start. If something announces itself to you, which is a strange way of thinking about it, as in need of repair, that you could repair, then hey, fix it. You fix 100 things like that, your life will be a lot different. Now, I often tell people too, fix the things you repeat every day, because people tend to think of those as trivial, right? You get up, you brush your teeth, you have your breakfast, you have your routines that you go through every day. Well, those probably constitute 50% of your life. And people think, well, they're mundane, I don't need to pay attention to them. It's like, no, that's exactly wrong. The things you do every day, those are the most important things you do. Hands down. All you have to do is do the arithmetic. You figure it out right away. So 100 adjustments to your broader domain of being, and there's a lot less rubbish around, and a lot fewer traps for you to step into.
All right, this is probably going to take a little bit longer than an afternoon, so you'll have to come back and see how it looks when it's all tidied up. In the meantime, comment below. Have you had a dream or a premonition in your life that you followed or you didn't follow? Tell me about it in the comments. Look forward to hearing about it. Catch you later.
Join the crusty seaman as he fixes up his old boat. Maybe the crappiest show on YouTube.